Quentin Lee brings you the show from the home of Eric Page, who started here with nothing and shows how he beat poverty through property. Plus, a 1,000 Rand gift card must be won in this week's Top Hat competition.
Good evening, it's a warm North Coast welcome to Top Billing, and tonight, tips from the top on keeping it real. Eric Page wasn't born into privilege. Thinking on his feet, he saw an opportunity in property and was soon bond-free. Here's how he built his dream.
Eric drives a modern classic, lives in one, and is one himself. He had a vision of a minimalist beach house with an Indian Ocean view from every room. It was built with concrete, glass, and his own iron resolve to make the dream a reality. He lives here with his partner of 6 years, Michelle Baker.
Tough life, fellas. This view's horrible, guys.
Oh, Jonathan, it's the best part of my day is coming home and seeing this view. It feels like I'm on a ship. I've just got uninterrupted views of the dolphins and the whales. Absolutely amazing, especially on a beautiful day like today, when the doors are open and just gives you an absolute open feeling.
You know, it's like looking at a fish tank. But yeah, we're looking at the ocean, so same sort of thing, but yeah, it just gives you total freedom.
Well, Eric, waking up every morning to that incredible view and stepping out of bed, you must reflect on that amazing journey that you've had.
We were the poorest of the poor. After the war, there was a massive depression, and my dad served 6 years in the war, and we landed up living in Government Village in Germiston, where it was subsidized. So it was a very, very humble beginning. But yes, I looked at things differently from other people, and I just got to a point in my life where I said, I will refuse to be poor.
Eric's nature was forged here in Germiston, in a family of 5 children, where one chicken had to feed 6 people or more.
So these are the humble beginnings, but the view has changed slightly, right?
It's a humble 3-bedroom house, coal stove, no fire, no hot water. That's what life was like. So we had our chores as kids, and we had to get on with it.
What are some of the fondest memories of growing up in this house? Something that springs to mind immediately?
Cleaning the coal stove, and making sure the fire was running, so we had hot water. And then we also had a massive apricot tree that we used to play in and eat apricots before they were ripe, and we always got into trouble. The old man, I went to school down the road here. The school only did grade 1, grade 2, and then standard 1. And yeah, one of my apartments that I lived in when I moved out of home is just down the road. So the area, I know the area pretty well, and yeah, it's got some very good memories, but this is what drove me to improve myself.
Property was his solution. While friends were paying long-term bonds and were attached to their homes, Eric's approach was to flip houses, make a profit, and get bond-free.
My first property I invested in, I bought a stand up in Besonia, which is in the south of Johannesburg. I then did the next best thing I could do, and I sold the stand and put a deposit on a house. And I built it up from there. I kept that house for a few years. I sold it, I made a decent profit. I've done that about 6 times in my life with my various houses, and every single house I've ever owned has had a view.
Buying and selling properties wasn't enough. He needed several income streams to finance the investment.
I was fully employed. I started a video company. I started a bottle store. I sold second-hand cars. So I had multiple sources of income. Very, very, very hard road. Working on your own took me about 15 years before I made money. But it's a hard job. It's a hard work, and you just stick at it, you'll come right.
You mentioned that every house you've had has had a view, and I know there's a big story behind that too.
Well, yes, it's a story. Maybe it's an embarrassing story. We were young kids, and we never had money to go to drive-in. And the total sum of the fee to get in was 50 cents, which we never had. So we sneaked into the drive-in up the exit, and we sat and watched movies. And I think we pushed our luck a bit, and the management came and got us put in jail. And from not being able to pay 50 cents to go watch the movies, we had to pay 5 rand to get bails out. I only had a little view as a 15-year-old looking at the highway, the N2, and I watched that the whole weekend, and I vowed then and there that nobody will ever take my freedom, and I'll always have a view.
Eric starts each house from scratch. Aside from pots he's kept for 30 years, he moves into each new home without even a spoon.
So many striking things as you walk into the house, but this must take the cake. The floating staircase, this is quite incredible.
It was one of my dreams, trying to set your mind at rest from a safety point of view. Every one of these stairs can take 800 kilograms.
Yeah, each one.
Each step can take 800 kilograms.
It's crazy because it's quite scary when you walk up here. The staircase is literally floating. It doesn't feel like, because you can see through the stairs, it feels like you're kind of going to fall through it and there's nothing to support you.
This is as sturdy as a concrete staircase or a steel staircase. The wall is it's a 0.5 meter cavity wall. Inside this wall is a galvanized frame. Every one of these steps bolts into that galvanized frame with rubber gaskets. Once that's all in and leveled, the cavity wall's filled up with concrete.
It's incredible. It adds to the whole floating feeling of the house because you walk into the entrance hall, it doesn't obstruct the view. You can look literally right through the staircase.
Another feature of the staircase is that it picks up the colours of the ocean. And we've carried that through from the glass to the house, glass staircase, and then onto the bar, where we've got cracked glass at the bottom and on the countertop. And we really, really struggled to find somebody to come up with this design because Eric and I are ultra modern. We wanted a wow factor to match the wow factor of the stairs and the lounge and coming through and seeing this view. We managed to find a company in Johannesburg who came up with a brilliant concept of my bar, where they've taken the bulkheads from the ceiling and put it through the bar. From any points in the bar, like the house where you can see the ocean from any room in our home, you can see the ocean sitting at the bar, and hence the mirrors. So when you're sitting facing the bar, there's mirrors where it'll reflect the blue from the ocean. It'll pick up the turquoises, also the big mirror there.
Eric is a minimalist who prefers a plain white canvas. This custom-designed dining room table lends warmth and balances the look.
Well, Eric, clearly you don't like being put in a box. We know this because you were in a box at one stage. You didn't like it.
From that box, I never get into a box again. That was a very small box.
Just because a place is minimal doesn't mean it's less work.
Yes, and I want openness. I want minimalist. It's been a hell of a challenge from an engineering point of view. This house took over 4 years to build. If you had to look at the earthworks, I brought this stand down by 5 meters, and then we had to build retaining walls, and obviously then do all the piles and the ring beams. That all had to cure, and then start with your slabs and get up. So it's been a hell of a challenge. It really is, but it's been worthwhile.
For the interiors, Michelle pored over magazines, looked online, and put together a strong, clear storyboard, which was the inspiration for the custom-designed features.
Due to the size of our rooms, I had to have a lot of my furniture designed. And so we've had the lounge suite made, we had the wall unit made, and floating as well. So we've kept the floating thing going through the house.
All custom made.
It had to be because of the size, yeah.
Well, that couch is 5 meters long, so you're not going to get one in the shop.
Lots of lounging happening on there.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Not wanting to be confined by traditional methods, Eric struggled to find a company to build this cantilevered bedroom. Once the shell was built, designer Clifton Smithers could go to work.
Cliff, you were given a very specific brief when it came to the interior of this house. So how did you go about realizing that vision for the clients?
Well, one of the things we wanted to do was to join the downstairs entertainment area with the upstairs bedrooms. And this particular wall is the only double volume wall in the house, which is obviously holding this glass staircase. We wanted to create a feature around the staircase and create some depth and mood. So what we did is we used this blue limestone paint and we applied it on a 45-degree textured hatched effect. Yeah, it just provides a really nice mood around the staircase. It reacts very nicely in the day with the external light that comes through the windows. The little limestone pigments actually respond well and just gives a really nice mood and texture to what was quite a bland staircase.
Cool, so it's actually something that viewers at home can use quite easily to great effect on their walls. Something that's not so easy, I imagine, is getting a chandelier like this into the house.
Yeah, pretty complex chandelier. The guys had to get a little forklift and get it hung up. Basically, it's a stainless steel chandelier with crystals, not too intense. So it's really supposed to come alive at night. It's not to be something that's in your face as you walk in, but just really to provide a really nice glow, almost like a full moon effect as you come into the door.
Artwork is mostly from destinations the couple have traveled to, though any art would struggle to rival this reality.
So this room's turned out exactly how Eric wanted it. It's literally a glass box cantilevered over the sea, and our job was to warm it up, dress it up, and deal with all the privacy aspects of it.
This is just ridiculous to wake up to this every morning. It's actually quite difficult to decorate a room like this because there's no physical walls, it's just glass.
That's right. One of the difficult things was how do we deal with the privacy and how do we deal with the morning rising sun? And so we had automated curtains and blinds put in here, and we had to soften up the whole headboard area with this wallpaper and elongated headboard. And as you can see, everything's just very clean, very minimalist, and floating. Floating king-size bed, floating pedestals, a small little ottoman at the end of the bed in the morning. You can just sit and enjoy the view. A really nice lounging chair if you do want to swivel out and read a book, have a cup of coffee. Just keeping it really simple. Yeah, so one of the things we wanted to try and do is have some consistency through the bedrooms. And we wanted to bring in different palettes of blues and silvers and just very soft greys. So, you know, that palette could be a bit of a timeless feel for the whole house.
Eric advises those getting into property that the market has changed and to buy industrial sites to get a passive income with minimal issues. His track record speaks for itself.
Eric, Michelle, thanks so much for showing us around your dream home and sharing your remarkable story with us.
Yeah, I think if one looks back on your life and where you started, yeah, it's been a journey. If you believe in something, give it a go. If you don't, well, then you're never going to get in. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Cheers to taking chances.
Yes.
Cheers to life. And it's not how you start, it's how you end your journey, right?
Exactly. Let's not end it yet.
If they ever sell this place, we'll be very surprised.
Were you inspired by Eric's story? What does this house mean to you? Please join the conversation on #TopBilling and remember to look out for that top hat.